All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are Team 4 representing Verizon Wireless. My name is Brandon Nelson.
I'm Erin Phipps.
I'm Robbie Jenkins.
I'm Neil Markison.
I'm Shelby Williams.
And I'm Reba Dawes. In the telecommunications industry, there are two sectors, wireless and wireline. We will primarily focus on the wireless aspect due to their dynamic growth. There are currently 326.5 million mobile device users. That means that the majority of the population has access from a service provider. There are also four major competitors that hold 92% of the market share. Verizon and AT&T hold together 65%, Sprint Nextel holds 17.5%, and T-Mobile with the smallest. Verizon Wireless currently has 98 million users. In the total worldwide workforce, they have 176,800 employees. Their 2013 revenues were $81 billion, that was up 6.8% from 2012, and they cover more than 97% of the U.S.
So this is a pretty exciting time for the industry in general. They generated the highest ever recorded revenues at the end of 2013 as an industry. We're also on a 6-year trend of the highest buyer confidence in the industry, and there's always new, innovative, and changing channels for technology for companies to take advantage of. Some of the negative aspects is that the major competitors offer a lot of the same services and products, and so there's a big lack of differentiation in the market. And additionally, there is no low-priced data package offered by a big competitor in the market. The industry for the company is also pretty exciting right now, or the environment for the company is also pretty exciting right now. They have very diversified services. They span into the wireline, wireless, and business services sectors, and so they have a very widespread service market, meaning that they have low risk. They also just bought the remaining 45% share of their company from Vodafone, putting them in a position to make a strong financial move in the market. Some of the negative aspects is that since the market is near such saturation, there are decreasing member rates, even though they are remaining positive. And finally, Verizon has some lack in urban areas, but they have always been very strong in rural areas.
So because of the current environment in the industry and the company, we decided to make a related diversification strategic action. So basically, we would go into the Portland area initially and then go up from there. But to work out any bugs, we would make a whole infrastructure of Wi-Fi tower networks. We would contract out with Android a Wi-Fi only phone, so the phone can only run off Wi-Fi. And so we would make a network that, with newly built towers, they're solar powered, and it's Wi-Fi only towers.
So when we look at the strategy on our Toast Matrix, you can see that it spans into two different quadrants, the strengths opportunities quadrant and the weakness opportunities quadrant. When we weight this out, it totals 0.65, but when you look at it on the scale of the IFE and the EFE, it's only out of a total of 2 points for the two evaluations. And so what this means is that 33% of the factors evaluated for Verizon in both the internal and external environments could be affected by this strategic action.
Here we have the map of Portland, Oregon, and as you can see, there's about 603,106 residents in Portland, Oregon. The map on the right shows all the green dots. Those are all of the Wi-Fi towers that are powered by solar energy. So as you can see, we're going to be able to hit all of Portland, Oregon with our plan. So how are we going to do this? Well, stage one is to get funding from the board. And we're going to show them that we have, at the year end of 2013, we had a surplus of $53,528 million from our cash and cash equivalents, plenty of money to fund this project.
In stage two, we want to recruit and train and hire a leadership team. So what we want is to hire externally to get new ideas, but we're also going to hire internally to move positions up. If we hire internally, the positions need backfilled, so we can do that. Our annual cost of each one is presented.
So in stage 3, we need to complete the initial stages of our contracts for lease agreements to build these towers on property. So the average lease rate is about $1,000 per month. We need about a 10-foot by 10-foot space. We can lease these from both landowners and the city. The city is more than willing to do this. There's an article saying that they're willing to, they want to generate more revenue. And there's currently no regulations on Wi-Fi towers from the FCC. Also in this stage, we need to complete our contracts with Android and order our products. We would need about 141,000 cell phones, and the cell phone cost would be around $69.99 to Verizon for a total cost of around $10 million. This is in stage 4, we need to order all the components for our Wi-Fi towers. So itemized, we have everything we need to build the Wi-Fi tower, including the tower itself, antennas, and all the wires needed. We have our solar panels and the battery backup systems, including circuit breakers and inverters to supply all the power needed to each Wi-Fi tower. And then at the bottom, we have our security systems. So we have fencing, security cameras, and all that needed to ensure protection of our equipment. Then it's also in stage 4, we need to gain building and zoning permits. So these are approximately $10,000 per tower, and they take about a year to process. And then we would also need to hire subcontractors to build these towers. These are some contractors in the local area that have really high reviews and do this type of work for telecommunications industry companies. It's about $20,000 per site for the bid, so around $2 million for 106 sites. We chose 106 sites because that's the square mile radius that we need to cover. Each tower covers about 1 square mile. It would take about 5 days from start to finish to build these sites. For contractors, it would take about 530 days. In stage 5, we need to hire solar technicians to build these actual solar systems, basically, so solar powered systems. So these are 3 contractors in the area. They would just set up everything that we initially bought. We already ordered all the products. It would approximately cost $1,000 per unit.
So we want to hire system technicians. We're going to hire 10 full-time solar energy technicians. And they will be in a separate department from our already technicians. We're planning on hiring 3 full-time IS employees, which will be cross-trained with the additional tower technicians. They'll be in the same department. And we will also want to train new and the current employees. We're not looking to hire seasonal employees. If we're going to do a scheduling system that offers, if we're going to hire, they will be long-term. This process takes about 4 to 8 weeks of training, and Verizon already has 6 stores located in Portland. So we have 15 sales reps each, plus 1 shift manager if there's 3 shifts. We have a total of $216,000 in training.
Alright, so for a brief overview of our actual network system, we're going to start with up in the left corner, the servers for Verizon Wireless, which information is going to transfer through the fiber optic cable, also known as FiOS, to the specific fiber optic modems. From there, the fiber optic modem will communicate with the amplified tower routers through Ethernet cables, in which the signal will be sent to our Verizon users. 2 main issues is security and testing with implementing any network system. Security, we're going to start with WPA2, which is Wireless Protection Application number 2, which is the strongest available encryption. We're going to have strong passwords of 15 characters in length with characters, numbers, and symbols, much like the university passwords here. We're going to remove all script usable characters, which are semicolon JavaScripts. Change all wireless settings to from default to our own personal settings to eliminate that risk. As Reva said, we're hiring 3 IS people, which will work as network administrators. This will be for a proactive defense. For testing, we're going to emphasize our users. This means like going in between towers, do we lose signal, do we not? How do we work with multiple applications? We want to create the best possible product for our users, so that's the best way to test.
So in order to implement a successful marketing plan, we thought it would be best to market towards lower income individuals and those that like to go green. Low income individuals, that's not necessarily those living in poverty, below the poverty line of 20,000, but rather those living low income between $20,000 and $50,000 annually. And with that, and going green, we want to market for going green for less because these Wi-Fi towers are powered by solar energy it's not, because the common conception is that going green, going organic is rather expensive, but with this, we're able to go green and power these water towers, solar energy, but also offer a low-cost plan. So about 36% of the Portland population is living in as a low-income individual. And with this, 65% are, this is a potential market share, Verizon, AT&T. Verizon, it's product cannibalization, it's somewhat inevitable in a sense because Portland inhabitants, they're going to see this low-cost plan, they don't want to be a part of it. But we also want to market towards those low-income individuals just to allow them a chance to get a plan and get a phone. But with the 65%, we're hoping to gain customers from our competitors, from AT&T, Sprint. So we'll continue to retain our customers, but we'll also steal customers. I think Verizon has a positive retention rate as it stands right now, so they're gaining more customers from competitors than they are losing. As far as the multiple market segments go, we market towards environmentally concerned, those that want to go green, obviously. Males, females, age 18-65, these may be inhabitants that have decided to permanently settle in the Portland area, in the urban area, so they can use this Wi-Fi network on a day-to-day basis. They don't need to leave their homes or anything like that. So in order to market towards these low-income individuals, people who want to go green, we thought it would be best to use one of the better modes of advertising. We thought it would be best to use public transportation, because not everyone owns a car. 8% of Portland inhabitants use bikes to commute to work, to and from. And also 13% of Portland inhabitants use public transportation on a weekly basis to get to and from work. So TriMet is the dominant public transportation agency in Portland. But all the advertising that you might see on the side of the bus, inside the train, public benches, they do all that through the MAR Advertising, which is a company, just a general advertising company out of America. So Verizon would need to get in touch with TriMet and Lamar in order to get this advertising on the buses, on the trains. So there's currently 625 buses running on 79 routes within Portland, so I figure if we get at least one bus per route, we'd be able to maximize reach and exposure. And in addition, for the Max Light Rail system that Portland has, they currently have 22 trams on 4 lines, so if we had 2 ads, an ad per car for the tram, we'd be able to reach, I think it's about 130,000 individuals throughout the week that commute by train, and allow them to see these interior vertical advertisements within the train, so to and from. In addition, the public benches that Lamar would be able to advertise on, we figured 106 benches would be a good number for those who are riding. First of all, it would cover every square mile of the Portland area, metropolitan area. For people who are riding the bus, they may not be on the bus that we're advertising Verizon on, but perhaps they'd see the benches, people who are biking to work. In addition, we'd see these moving billboards on buses, and see the public benches on their stop. With the billboards, it's downtown Portland, it's pretty cluttered. That's where a majority of these billboards are, so billboards wouldn't be the best option, but for those who are working in the offices downtown, just working in downtown in general, able to be exposed to this billboard and at least see that Verizon has the product out. Radio reaches 80-81% of U.S. citizens on average daily, or at least it reaches them. I don't know how many people actually listen to the radio on a daily basis. But if we ran at least one ad on Portland's most popular radio station, 8 times a day, 5 times a week, maybe in the morning when people are commuting to work, hear it on the buses, hear it on the trains, if it's playing, be able to expose them to that as well. And as each of the costs of these modes of advertising, they come out to just under $3 million over an 8-month campaign, and we decided 8 months is a good amount of time for us to advertise, because we can advertise 2 months prior to the actual release date of the plan to build anticipation for the product, and then 6 months after the release date, just to get the product name out there and the plan, so people realize this is a new and existing product.
Alright, so now we're going to talk about the finalized service plan. As you can see, we chose the Android phone, the 7100 Android MTK 6515. Now what we're going to offer is the unlimited Wi-Fi, as we've talked about, the free international calling, because there's a whole bunch of apps you can do that you can call people overseas for free on Wi-Fi. We're going to have an emergency phone service. The phone is free with a 1-year contract, and it's going to cost $29.99 per month, but we also do have an optional insurance plan that they can get, It's going to cost $4 a month, and we do have a $20 deductible for if your phone's lost or stolen.
So now that this product is online and actually being received by customers, we wanted to provide some sort of support to the customers that are getting this new program and this new service, since it's so different than what most competitors offer. So we wanted to provide Verizon-hosted workshops that explain just some basics of the device, how to set it up, some functions, and then maybe some general troubleshooting for both the device and the service.
Now let's take a look at the financial results of this. So our total cost to implement this for the 4 years that it will take will be $52,256,179. But our potential revenue in the first year of full implementation is $50,788,000 plus. So it could really go up anywhere depending on how people take this. As you can see, we looked at our return on assets and our total asset turnover, return on equity, all of those, to see what our using cash and cash equivalents would do. And it turned out that it increased it by less than 1%, but it still did increase it because we have so much excess cash. That's why we chose to do this path versus lowering all of these using debt and by getting a loan. And you can see that our opportunity risk is low due to Verizon's diversified service, as Aaron mentioned earlier. And our financial risk is low in comparison to Verizon's current portfolio, so that's why we recommend that they use their cash and cash equivalents.
So now that we've explained our plan, we just want to compare it to another similar company called Republic Wireless. How many people have heard of Republic Wireless in this room? That's what I thought. That's one of the Verizon's edges. It has an edge on Republic because they're a well-known, reputable company. Verizon offers superior customer service and in-store assistance. Republic is online-based, so you have to order your products online. And if you want assistance, it's a customer-to-customer form that you have to post your questions to. May or may not get answered. In comparison to their lowest rates, they offer a $5 a month Wi-Fi only access plan, but you have to also buy a phone. Their lowest phone is around $144, but it has terrible reviews and doesn't work well with their network, so you have to buy the more expensive one, which is $299, which comes out to $359 a year. With our plan, it's $359.88, so it's very competitive with their network. And Verizon's 106 towers will provide customers with Wi-Fi all around Portland. Republic customers rely on coffee shop wireless, so wherever you get wireless, then you can use it. If you don't have wireless, you have to go off of their rented network, so Republic rents space from Sprint for their cell phone towers. So if you use too many minutes, you use too much data, you'll get kicked off their plan, basically. And for many low-income individuals, home internet is still a luxury. So with this new infrastructure of Wi-Fi towers, you can pick up a signal from your home.
Potential benefits are increased revenue, increased technological advancement, and a new stream of customers for Verizon. Potential drawbacks is that, as you can see, it's a very high initial cost and kind of a long implementation period, as well as you cannibalize some of your existing services. But this creates a great competitive advantage for Verizon Wireless, because we will be the only major wireless carrier to support Wi-Fi only technologies, as well as we have created the lowest cell phone plan for call, text, and Wi-Fi among all major competitors. For the future, we hope to gain revenue and maximize our profits, and within 4 years of our launch in Portland, we really hope to expand to more populous urban areas around the country.
And with that, we present to you Wi-Fi, powered by Verizon. Thank you.
Solar panels and how much sunlight it takes to run a power like that. But with being in Portland where it rains 9 months out of the year, do you see this causing problems for your towers?
No. One reason we picked Portland is because it does have both extreme sunny and wet and stormy, so it's a good implementation site to test those, get those bugs out of the system. But there are low light solar panels that you can get. They're actually putting in a whole bunch of them in Seattle for housing, basically. We have a battery storage unit that will keep power stored in to run these towers, and we have enough batteries to run towers efficiently. So.
So two things. I come from an architecture background, so the solar panels I know a lot about, including the low light. So solar panels only have an 86% efficiency rating right now, and that drops by upwards of 40% in overcast. And the Portland area and Seattle are overcast 9 or 10 months out of the year. And so there may be a little bit of issue with your solar panel stuff. But then also, your clear, like the Wi-Fi coverage. Have you guys looked at Portland's Clear network? 5 years ago, Portland had implemented free Wi-Fi citywide called
Yeah.
Clear.
I can address that. The free Wi-Fi services that most cities offer are very poor and problematic in most places. When customers have a Verizon connection, they have a more powerful signal, and they'll be able to use their phone more efficiently.
And on top of that, though, if you get a pay-as-you-go phone, because I have a couple friends still out in Portland using them, it's cheaper than $29.99 a month, and they use the Clear network, so you still get all the Wi-Fi.
Is that a smart? Do they buy smartphones or?
Yeah, they do they do a smartphone pay-as-you-go, and then the Wi-Fi is still completely free. So have you guys addressed how you might be able to compete with that?
Yeah, and I think what Neil was kind of saying was that it's not as strong. So while they may be paying, $25 or $20 a month, we really think that that extra $10 will be well received for that strong, reliable network.
Plus, with that, you have to buy your phone first through Straight Talk, and that's your first initial cost, and then you have monthly payments. Ours, you're paying your phone through the year. So that's why we have a $29.99, because you don't have to initially buy the phone first.
Are you guys building all new towers?
Yes. Because there's so few cell phone towers, we can't just connect Wi-Fi.
Because Portland is all about like being green and like the environment. Do you think that you'll have people opposing the towers? Because the picture you showed, there was like a huge tower right in front of someone's house.
Yeah, to address that, many people are actually in favor because they want better reception for their cell phones. There's also an option to do camouflage towers, so they look like trees. But we thought we wouldn't do that necessarily because we do have the solar panels underneath the tower, and we didn't want to create even more shadow. But initially, I looked into that. People don't really find it problematic. What people find problematic about cell phone towers is the noise, because they're run off diesel, basically. And so with these, they'd be quiet, green, not really an eyesore. They're not really that loud.
Any quick question? Because I worked for Verizon last summer, and a big problem that they're having currently is federal regulations, because they're getting very close to becoming a monopoly. So have you guys looked into, would this push them over the edge, or be able to pass through that?
Yeah, the nice thing about the Wi-Fi towers is that they actually aren't regulated under the telecommunications FCC regulations, and so they're outside that bounds, and so it'd be a new service that wouldn't be regulated the same as their cell phone towers.
Charging less than $30 a month when the smartphone often costs several $100s to sell.
The cost to make.
How long it would take to actually start making revenue before paying for the cost of the phone.
So, basically, so you saw the total cost and the total revenue. It takes us about 2 years to pay every cost off. But our phone to manufacture would be $69.99, which would be our cost, and then we would sell it at cost. We wouldn't be making any margin on the cell phone, which most telecommunications companies don't make margins on their cell phone. They make margins on their service. So.
Okay. What happens when I leave Portland? Do I have a paperweight?
You can still use your phone for any Wi-Fi, like Talk Shop Wi-Fi. This is just the initial implementation. Most low-income people they are in the city most of the time. And that's why there's you can use your phone for emergency calling and everything like that too.
So the suppliers that you guys would use for your cell phones, is there any concern about maybe a loss in brand image on their end? So like Samsung or anything like that, now their phones are getting distributed at a very low price when they could be signed up for a lot.
A major supplier, Apple, Samsung, HTC, we use more of a generic, just Android brand phone that uses the Android system, but isn't necessarily tied to a popular supplier.
One more question.
Okay.
So since the majority of people today, I think, have a smartphone, can I just use mine? Like, do I have to get the new smartphone plan and use that one for the internet and then use mine for my regular phone plan?
It's an option that you have to look at. with most, especially with Verizon, they really look down on the transferring the device, especially from another service.
Well, like, I have Verizon, so if I have Verizon currently, can I use my smartphone?
To address that a little bit, when you're transferring from Wi-Fi to the towers, it often drops calls. So you have a lot of dropped calls, and it works pretty well with data, but calling and texting, it drops a lot of calls. And so
Thank you, team.